So, just been announced that Sky have won the bids to air Mayweather Pacquiao, which is obviously great for Sky.
I don't own Sky.
No, I know you don't, but
some people, the way I get tweeted about, apparently, you know, but no, this is great. Obviously, there's a lot of people in for it, and I think it's found the right platform, the right channel. It's the biggest fight, I've said before, I feel, by the time it comes around, of all time. So wonderful news for Sky and Sky fighters, and yeah, very, very pleasing.
We know that obviously Johnny Nelson and Adam Smith have been out in America, they was at the press conference, etc. But what's been the time delay of getting this fight announced?
Nothing. There's been a lot of work that's been going on behind the scenes. Obviously, it's a huge fight. Trips out to America, you know, back and forwards, proposals, obviously offers from other sources as well coming in. But it's taken time. I think probably a week later than expected, but over the line, and great news for Sky Sports.
Would you have any idea of how much this pay-per-view would be?
I do have an idea, but it's I think it's going to be set at a reasonable price. Obviously, it's something that Sky are going to be setting, but look, it's a massive fight, and I think fans will be happy with it.
With a fight of this magnitude and the time, obviously, scale it's on in this country, but does that counter that because of how big the fight is? Does it really matter?
In terms of the 4 o'clock in the morning?
Yeah.
You're quite right. I think that's countered by the size of the fight. I think this does hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of buys. I think the world is going to be at a standstill when the first bell goes. I think it matters if it was 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 6 o'clock in the morning. Everybody's going to want to watch it, and everyone will find a way to watch it.
Mayweather said that the world will stop. Do you think, like, if taking into consideration money, the amount of people buys, the amount of people that watch it, the names involved, is this the biggest fight ever?
I think so, and I don't necessarily think. I think because of where we are in today's world, I think because of social media, because of all the various other media outlets, I think by the time the fight comes around, it will be the biggest fight ever. I do. And listen, there's been some unbelievable fights in the past, the Rumble in the Jungle, but you're in a different age then. You know, that didn't have the reach that it has now in terms of the media outlets. And I go back to social media, it's a different world now. And I think by the time this fight comes around, it will be the biggest fight of all time.
But certainly of our generation at the moment, someone like me and you.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you know, what would you say the biggest fight of our generation has been so far?
When you say our generation, do you mean while me and you have been alive?
That's generally, yeah.
I don't know. What?
That's what I'm saying though. You know, so you'd have to say this is definitely the biggest fight of our lives. Forget generation, but our lives.
What would have been the one before this then? What would you have said it was?
Well, listen, I mean the likes of Hagler Hearns. You know, these are huge fights, but I think this fight has a broader appeal to the UK audience because of our big boxing.
Tyson Lewis.
Yeah, I mean, you know, like big fights that I remember are like, I don't know. See, I loved like Chavez against Pernell Whitaker. You know, Chavez against Meldrick Taylor. Like they're fights that stick in my, but they're not nowhere near on the same level of this. You know.
Bellew Chilemba.
Bellew Chilemba 2. Well, Jones Brook 2. That was up there.
Yeah.
You know, I think also you have to look at the likes of I was trying to think of some other stinkers we've done, but I can't remember. The worst fight of all time that I've ever seen was Johnny Nelson against Carlos de Leon for the WBC Cruiserweight title in Sheffield Town Hall. It was a draw. They threw about 4 punches for the whole fight. It was so bad. Anyway.
You only said that because Nelson ain't about.
Yeah, I know.
Let me ask you a question. MGM Grand holds less than 17,000, I believe. I think it's 16,000 or something like that. What do you think Mayweather Pacquiao put in, say, a stadium that held 100,000?
Well, of course it's going to sell out, but you've got to understand, it's not really about that for them. they can price these tickets at such a different level. Do a 100,000 stadium, you've got to have your $40 and your they can't be bothered with the aggravation. They are, stick it in the MGM Grand, make the ticket prices absolutely outrageous, and we'll make just as much money. What's the gate netting? 30, 40 million dollars? You couldn't net that in a 100,000 stadium with the pricing structure that you have to put in place. So much less aggravation this way. They're not bothered about making history. They're just bothered about get the fight on, stick it in that arena, price it, this, take in bundles on the gate, no hassle, no drama. It's not going to rain. We haven't got to put a canopy up. We haven't got to put covering on the floor. We haven't got to get extra stewards in, extra police in.
I use 100,000 as an example, but what do you think realistically if there was?
Well, I think Froch Groves could have done 120,000.
If what?
If we had the space.
Really?
Yeah. It sold out in 51 minutes. So I think this could do a couple of 100,000. But what is the point of this conversation? Do you know a stadium that holds a couple of 100,000?
No, I don't.
It's the worst conversation.
I don't.
I mean, like,
I don't. I just want to know whether you're planning on topping Froch Groves too. That's all we want to know.
No one's stopping it.
All right, Eddie, thank you very much for talking to Eiffel TV for the second time today. Catch you later.